Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes are trending, and it's because of something they're doing that's changed with their philosophy in the portal. We're going to talk about that today on the Portal Podcast.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily transfer portal, recruiting, and NIL news. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football writer and recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Really happy you stopped in. And today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Towards the end of the show, we're going to talk about USC's ability to stay hot on the recruiting trail. They are possibly going to finish with the number one recruiting class in the nation, even beating out some of the teams down south. And speaking of, the player they just got is a player from the state of Louisiana, a top wide receiver. Really good pickup for the USC Trojans. We're also going to talk about several portal decisions. Players going all over the country, players getting in the portal and making their final decisions. We got some news for you on that front, but we start with Deion Sanders in Colorado. They have started to shift into a trend that other schools are doing as well. But if Colorado is doing it, especially a program as unique as the Buffaloes, Coach Prime and his squad have changed things. And that's where we start. And that trend is this. It's not just finding the one and dones in the portal. It's balancing the portal. Yeah, you still want to get Travis Hunters. There aren't very many of those, by the way. You still want to get elite guys that are one and dones or 2-year guys, whatever. Travis was a special player that they knew that he was going to be going after his junior year. Let's throw him to the side. You got to get guys, especially in the trenches if you're Colorado, if you're going to move your program up. And this goes for anybody, not just the Colorado Buffaloes. You've got to get guys that you are going to bet on, that you can develop better than the last program, or you can find the combination for that player with other guys to play with, because this is a team sport, or you will fail. Colorado is betting on itself. They're taking some guys with 2, 3, and 4 years of eligibility with more regularity. Now, this isn't a complete switch. I'm not stating that. Colorado's still going to take some one and dones with the elite guys, and hey, by all means, I get it. But they're starting to use development. And they're starting to use long-term projections more. They're not getting a ton of high school guys, but they've increased the talent level from the high school ranks they're signing as well. It's incremental, but this is how you win if you're not sitting in the hotbed, like, let's just use an easy one, University of Florida, University of Georgia, any of those you want, the big box schools. Those states, you can be darn near an idiot and recruit a top 10 class at Florida or Georgia. Colorado doesn't have that same advantage. So they got to be more particular about who they take out of the high school ranks and very strategic with how they utilize the portal. They have done a better and better job as Deion has been there, and he's grown as a coach on the field too. But if you don't have the roster, it doesn't matter how much intelligence you have. It does not matter how much your coaching is good. You've got to have a balanced and talented roster across the board. Their linemen, especially from the first year he was there to what they're going to have in year 3, night and day, because they've got more depth. The system is in place. They have more players that are competing at a high level, and everything from practice on up is going to be better. So let's jump into a couple of the guys that I'm going to use as examples. So 3 players, but none of them go away from this trend. This is a good sign for them overall. Larry Johnson played at Tennessee. He's there a couple of years. He'll be a redshirt sophomore. He's massive, 6'7", 350 pounds. Didn't play a ton of snaps at UT. Pretty highly recruited kid. But again, Colorado needs offensive linemen. Well, he's got 3 years of eligibility to figure it out at Colorado. Can't teach the size. He's 6'7", give or take 350. Maybe they got to reshape his body, whatever. But sometimes you got to go and get these kind of players. Think of it this way. The Final Four teams in the playoff, they get the elite linemen out of high school. Colorado is not getting a ton of those. They got Jordan Seaton. He's their starting left tackle and was pretty much from day one at Colorado. That's the exception, not the rule for them. So you've got to supplement differently. Maybe they'll get more high school linemen this year. I don't know. But if you're not, you need some guys that are not only just surefire, going to play right away guys, you've got to develop. They also get Noah King. This is a unique story here. He signed with Kansas State. He's from the greater Cincinnati area. Didn't work out. The 6'1", 195-pounder is transferring to Colorado. Maybe he's a player that is going to end up playing right away. I don't know, but he's got 4 years of eligibility. He's basically a freshman. Be aggressive. Find players that fit what you want to do and go after it. He was a 4-star on 3 and 24/7, so it wasn't like he was a low-ranked recruit anyway. But do you go after the guys that have the talent that can fit your scheme no matter the year? Because chances are he's not going to be ready to play right away. He's a freshman. Even most 5-star freshmen playing corner on an island, as Deion can talk about far better than I, is hard. They're probably looking at him. If he can contribute this year, that's great. But this is a long-term play. Again, Colorado is doing more of this. And then finally, John Slaughter, another kid from Tennessee. He only played 54 snaps last year. He's played a couple years at Tennessee. He'll be a redshirt sophomore. Again, another highly recruited kid. Did it work out at Tennessee? No. That doesn't mean that you can't utilize him later down the road. Maybe he's just special teams and a reserve player this year, but he's a guy that's got 3 years of eligibility. You have to take a chance on him and bet on yourself if you're going to develop a football program like Colorado, which, again, nothing against the state of Colorado, but it is not exactly the most fertile high school football recruiting grounds. 10 kids a year that are P4, I'm going to guess, something like that. It's just not enough. You have to be a little bit more coy with how you use the portal, and you also have to be more strategic as well in terms of positions. Colorado has struggled with linemen, so that's one of the reasons. Maybe you could argue Larry Johnson's the most important of these, even though he hasn't played much at Tennessee. Linemen are hard to get, but then you get 2 more DBs. Colorado needs to be better on pass defense too. So they're betting on themselves, and I think this trend, there are other teams doing this too, is something you're going to see from more of the high-level teams, finding a few guys you're going to take a chance on because you believe in yourself as a staff, as an institution, your strength program, nutritionists, everybody that's in the back office working on all this different schemes, working on all the different trends. You're bonding together and you're bringing those players in to be a part of it. If you're going to elevate year to year, that's the way you got to do it. The one and done thing needs to be the cherry on the top. And Deion, give him credit for doing that. And again, there are others as well. I'm not just picking Deion out of the hat, and that's the only one. But this is kind of the new trend. You're seeing more players that are freshmen and sophomores that are going to some programs that could make a run at their conference championship and or the college football playoff. And I think it's a good trend. When we come back, we're going to talk about the list of players that have committed, and we're going to talk a little bit of recruiting. USC has made a very nice run for themselves this year. They just added another piece. That is next here on the Portal Podcast. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. Even if you're somebody that's not a gamer like me, I use my Fire TV Stick pretty much every day. I watch all kinds of things. Game of Thrones on Max. I use all kinds of things, Paramount Plus. I use YouTube TV. There's all kinds of different ways. And there's an app every day I try to explore with it. And it's just easy. Once you have it, you get a hold of how it works pretty quickly. There's no reason not to have one because you're going to find stuff for free that you don't even have to pay for. That's very entertaining, whether it's nature, whether it's sports or something else. Fire TV Stick's a pretty good deal. Head over to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller are required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube, third generation. Let's talk commitments from the transfer portal. I don't know if they're the second team I would rank in the portal as the most interesting, but Syracuse always seems to be in the news here with the transfer portal. So I'm going to start with them. Former Bama and Florida State O lineman Terrence Ferguson, TJ Ferguson, however you want to call it. It's going to be a fifth year. He's going to Syracuse. Now, he didn't play very well last year at Florida State, but I don't think Florida State's had a good O-line in so long, and I know because I cover Florida State, that I'm not sure how you can rank it. But he's massive. He's played a lot, and Syracuse needs a lineman. It'll be interesting to see if Ferguson does much for Fran Brown in his squad, but they get a veteran that's a one and done. Syracuse also picks up a former five-star in Zach Rice. He never really hit it off at North Carolina. He's had some injuries. For 3 years, he's just not got over the top. He's got 2 years of eligibility. He will be at Syracuse this next fall. Cal gets wide receiver Mark Hamper from Wisconsin. He was last year at Idaho, 49 catches, 963 yards, 19.7 a reception. That's pretty darn good. 6 scores. He was only in Wisconsin for a semester. He is now headed to Cal. Oklahoma, speaking of wide receivers and some talent, 6'4", 190-pound Jermichael Carter out of McNeese State, headed to OU, and Oklahoma is getting a guy that I don't know if I want to call him a definitive deep threat, but it's pretty good average. 38 receptions, 548 yards, 14.4, 3 scores. Is he a dominant player? No, but the measurables, pretty good average. He can get down the field. Curious to see if he can really help them. Oklahoma doesn't have the deepest wide receiver room. 6'4" guys are hard to find too. They certainly need to find more size, just like about every school. So a kid gets a chance from McNeese, headed up to Oklahoma. I think that's pretty cool. DeMarcus Crosby, safety, 6'2", 195 from New Mexico State, talking about not being in the P4. He's headed to Virginia. This was a good player. DeMarcus Crosby last year, 537 snaps, 79 tackles, and an interception. Hats off to the Wahoos. That is a very nice pickup. Shamar Brown, 5'11", 220, another kid from the FCS to the P4. North Dakota State to the U. Miami picks up the redshirt sophomore to be. Last season as a redshirt freshman, 215 carries, 1,083 yards, 5 yards a tote, 14 scores at North Dakota State. Now, they got a pretty good running back room, but this kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Colorado. Brown will probably play, but they got a loaded room at Miami. At least one, if not both the guys they have will be 3 and out. Got a junior and a sophomore that are good. This is a way that you stack players, give them a chance to play, develop in your system. Shamar Brown's pretty talented, but now you've got 3 proven running backs. If you're the Canes, that's a pretty good move. Now, let's talk a little bit about the University of Southern California. They have been on a recruiting heater pretty much since January. They've done a very nice job. I've been told they could take up to 35 players if the right guys wanted to come. I think 30, based on that, is a safe number. But they've been doing most of their work in the state of California, and they should. But they get Roderick Tizino Jr. from Opelousas Catholic. That's about an hour from Baton Rouge. So state of Louisiana, I don't think LSU offered him. If they did, I'm unaware, but he's a kid. His list really grew after he went to Battle Miami. It's a 7-on-7 tournament that I go to, and that's a kid that's really talented. Don't know what it is about that tournament, but a lot of those tweets, I think, end up in college football offices. It's the first big 7-on-7, and Battle does a great job with it. He went down there and played well, impressed a lot of people, and the offers started coming in. USC gets him before he even goes into all the official visits and taking all those late May to June visits. Roderick Tizino Jr. is a player. He's got a little size. He's got some route running ability to him, and he makes contested catches. That's important. I think that is a very, very good football player, and one, quite honestly, that has gone a little bit under the radar. Opelousas Catholic has had some players over the years, but it's not like the biggest program in the Pelican State. It is somebody that just every now and then has somebody that's a good player. But this is somebody that I think LSU probably should have went after harder. Maybe they will later, but he's a really good football player. Also, from a couple of days ago, speaking of LSU, Havon Finley, Sierra Canyon, just outside of LA, goes down to the Bayou. So they're trading here, 6'2", 170 pounds. That is a very good corner. One of the best DBs in the state of California and the country. USC wanted him among others. So LSU getting him, that's a big pickup for them. And this is just an interesting trend in general. Minnesota has been better the last 2 years. Very physical football team, so I wanted to bring this up. Ezekiel Bates, 5'11", 210, Malvern Prep, pretty good program in the state of Pennsylvania. He's headed to Minnesota, 5'11", 210, running back, got some power to him. That fits what Minnesota's been trying to do. Good for the Gophers, good for the Big Ten. He is headed to Minnesota. Thank you once again for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Truly appreciate you stopping in to get all your latest transfer portal, recruiting, and NIL. This is the place for it. We're going to do it each and every day. I've got a podcast later today that's going to be about Texas A&M, breaking down their portal, their recruiting, what's going to happen with them, and are they keeping up with Texas? That's going to be a big theme on that podcast. But please like and subscribe, share this podcast wherever you go. Take it with you to the gym or on a long drive. We're available on Spotify, Apple, Odyssey, Amazon, any place you download your pods and listen on the go. The Portal Podcast is there for you. So once again, thank you very much. We will see you again soon.